Back on log.
Okay. Yep.
Great, thank you, Julia. All right. I'd like to report out to the live session that the Board of Trustees has appointed two additional trustees. And so we proudly welcome Morgan Hensley and Erica Porter to the trustee family of Stokes, and look forward to their service going forward. So can we readmit them or free them from the Great. I'd like to officially welcome Erica Porter and Morgan Hensley to the Stokes board. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And Morgan,
Yeah.
if you want to change your name again, there you go.
Excellent. Excellent.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Great. All right. So at this point, I will turn it over to Bobby, who leads the student government and the ambassador reports section.
Julia, is AJ on yet? And Brenton? If they are, you can.
Just admitted AJ.
Okay. Good morning, AJ. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good morning.
Wow, you're on the beach. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and share my can the host allow me to share? Oh, I like the beach better.
Got it.
Not putting pressure on him, Bobby.
All right, AJ. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the slideshow.
Hey.
All right.
Good morning, everyone. I hope all is well. Thank you again for letting me come to this meeting. I'm here on behalf of the student government. And as I did last meeting, I'm going to speak to you about what we have accomplished and planning from the end of the second trimester to the beginning of the third trimester. So, as you can recall, last meeting, I briefly spoke about the things that we've accomplished and planned, and now I'm gonna show you different things that we have accomplished and planned. For example, we have the Popcorn Friday money. Popcorn Friday is an activity we do every other Friday where popcorn sales are for $1. And then at the end of the year, the student government, each year they vote on a charity to donate from the money raised from Popcorn Fridays. So we all voted on the Ronald McDonald House in Brooklyn. And right now we currently raised over $950 in popcorn money. Another thing we have worked on was the field day activities. We worked with the PE teacher, Coach David, to help plan activities like the dunk tank, like slip and slide, water balloons, different things like that, for so we can prepare for a field day in June. And then the last thing we worked on, as you might remember, I talked about beautification, the student-led beautification day. We focused on the classrooms, but specifically the peace corners in the classroom. We created an emotions box for each class in the peace corner. And if students are feeling down or sad, they can write about like their emotions or anything they want their teacher to know, but without like telling that in front of the entire class.
Thank you for that presentation. And Brenton, I'm going to go ahead and share screen again. And you can talk about what you guys are doing over at the Brooklyn with the student ambassador. I mean, over at East End, the ambassadors over at East End. So let me share that part again. Sorry. All righty.
Morning, my name is Brenton.
And I attend, of course, the LUO Stokes East End campus. And I just want to share what we've done recently. Um, we got to start our fifth grade exhibition program to make change in the world. Our pre-K is taking care of their community by making plants and cleaning up all over the school. We're leading jazz and poetry during morning lineup. We got to give gifts to our math intervention teachers as a thank you for Teacher Appreciation Week. And our fifth grade is also working on a song for graduation.
Thank you for that. And I want to go back. AJ, was this your slide?
Yes. On behalf of me, Sophia, and Yasa, we would like to invite you to the fifth grade graduation. It's June 13th at 9:30 a.m. and it's at the Stokes Courtyard.
Thank you.
Okay, so the graduation for the Brooklyn campus is Thursday 13th, and the graduation for the Eastern campus is on Wednesday the 12th. And at this point, I'll open it up to any board members to ask our student ambassador and student government representatives. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I want to once again thank both AJ and Brenton. For me, your presentations are a welcome addition to the board meeting, and for me, the highlight of what would otherwise be a pretty boring set of presentations. So thank you very much, and look forward to your continued participation in the board meetings. So thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you again for inviting me to join you and talk about everything that's going on in the school. Thank you again.
Real. Anyone else? Great.
Alrighty. Have a wonderful weekend, AJ and Brenton, and tell your moms I said Happy Mother's Day.
Absolutely.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
You have a soccer game today?
No, tomorrow.
Okay. Good luck on that too. On Mother's Day?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Okay. According to the agenda, so the next section of the agenda deals with the committee reports. I'll ask each committee, we'll see whether individual committees have additional things to report, but I know we have some important burning information from the finance committee. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Carlos and Bonner. Carlos and Beatrice.
Beatrice, can you lead us off for this morning?
Yeah, Carlos will be leading us in the finance report.
So the finance committee met and we reviewed the budget with Bill, Bobby, and Erica. And I'm sorry, I don't have screen privileges right now. But the budget, they have a balanced budget this year. And for this upcoming school year, it looks really good. The revenues that they're being projected as well. For the student allocation, they increased it by the new regulations that have been, I think, will be enacted. So it gives us a balanced budget. A big accomplishment that we all know is that I have to give kudos to Bobby and Bill and Erica to getting through this, is renegotiating our lease, which is in balance and meets the goals of the school. And they have a really good provision to, if and when the school looks to do any expansion, that they have the capabilities to get out of that lease. So feel really good about next year's projections.
And at this point, we want to turn it over to Bill.
And I think
can I ask a really quick question? I'm just curious, Carlos or anyone, who owns the building?
The building is owned technically by. Go ahead, Bobby.
or Erica can tell us.
I was just going to add that it's a DCPS building originally, so it's owned by DC government.
But it's
Okay.
it has a lot more. It's a mortgage on it, and Stokes, you know, we have a loan for the space as even as a tenant for all the workout. So you do have, call it rent payments and what have you, as being a tenant in kind in that building.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I believe you were asking about East Campus. Is that correct?
I actually was asking about Brookland just because,
Oh, we
just because
own
I'm a
that.
only because I'm a parent at Brookland. So I don't know, when you all are talking about leasing, that's just the property that pops in my head.
Oh yeah, no, we own the Brooklyn campus and lease the East End campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but yeah, Brooklyn has been
No,
owned by
sorry, I
this.
should have.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, Bill. We're great.
Well, Anton, thank you for the introduction about the first boring report that you're going to see.
I was talking about talking about myself.
I appreciate that, you know. Let me pull up. So as Carlos had said, we have a proposed budget, and for your review and also for your approval if it pleases the board. But the first thing I wanted to do is go over our budget assumptions for next year. And as Carlos said, our per pupil allowance, and that's the money we received for each student who's enrolled at Stokes as of October 5th. And the city has deemed to increase that 12.4% to $14,622, which is I don't think I've ever seen an increase like that, but that's wonderful, and it's allowing us to do things. They're also budgeting an increase in facilities allowance, which is the same as per pupil, but it's for the facilities. It's designated for that. That's going up 3.1%. We're budgeting our enrollment for next year at 713 students. That's for both campuses. Now, our expenses are based on our new salary range, and what had happened this year for those, DC had gave us money for this year in order to give because of their new contract with the teachers union. They gave a retro pay to our teachers, and they also gave us some other money. And one of the things that they require is that we have a salary range or salary structure that is also posted. And Bobby and Julia have worked with an organization to come up with it, and they put in a lot of work, and my kudos to them. They've done an amazing job, and they've been able to do it in such a way that when we plug it into our budget with the increase in the per pupil allowance, we're able to still come out with a balanced budget. And all other expenses I'm budgeting an increase of 7%. That's sort of an inflation indicator. But going back through that, you can see, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay, as you can see, you're going to see a huge jump in our per pupil payments. It's going up like on $1.4 million. So that's where we're funding all the other increases. Our federal entitlements. The federal entitlements are grants that we get from the federal government that every school gets. So that's why it's called an entitlement. All we have to do is make sure that our grant application is approved, and we will receive the money. And there's two of those. It's every student succeeds and the IDA grant. Those are our federal entitlements. Our other government grants, those are the ones which come up each year that we can apply for. Not all of them you will receive. The reason you see a decrease from this year is that decrease is because the funds that we receive from the city for this retro pay and for increasing the salaries is in there. That's like 900,000. So in effect, what you're seeing is a slight increase in other government funds. Private grants and donations, this comes from foundations, it comes from, anyone who wishes to donate to the school. We are a 501c3, and your donations are tax deductible in case you're interested. So as you can see, we're expecting to have a fairly good year in grants and donations. Activity fees, those are the ones for the field trips, and also for the study tours. Special events and fundraising are self-explanatory. So overall, our income is going up to $19.2 million. And when we get down into the salaries, as you can see, it doesn't look like, if you look from the budget of this year versus, you can see the huge increase in the salaries and benefits. And this is based on what we've received, the guidance we've received from the city, and also on our new salary scale that's going to be published for all people who work at Stokes, not only the teachers. So as you can see, that's going up like $500,000. And overall, all the other things are in line with the increase. At the end of the day, what I'm looking at is like a small surplus of $26,000. And one thing that I didn't mention is, because of the way it's set up, also for this year, our forecast, I had given you the forecast at the last meeting, and it really has not changed that much. I still see us coming in with the surplus. And as you know, I'm always a little bit conservative when I put my surpluses, so I have it somewhere around break even. But that is pretty much the budget. Are there any questions?
I have a question, Bill. Is that material in the live binders?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I didn't see it when I looked for it. That's why I was asking. Okay, thank you.
Question, do we need to approve the budget not in this meeting?
That would be nice.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I'll ask Carlos and Beatrice, are we as our faithful and strong finance committee, are you comfortable with us putting forth a proposal to approve this budget?
Yes.
Yes.
Outstanding. All right, let's get it started. What we have before us is the 24-25 budget for Stokes. Is there a motion to approve this budget?
All right, Carlos Bonner, motion to approve the Stokes budget.
Thank you, Carlos. Is there a second?
I, Beatrice, second.
It's been appropriately moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being none, we will initiate a roll call vote, including our two newest trustees. I ask that you indicate aye or no when I call your name. Erica Porter.
I was about to say, which one? Aye.
Morgan.
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
Beatrice.
Aye.
Tim.
Aye.
Tracy. Come back, Tracy. Carlos.
Aye.
Dina.
Aye.
And Anton Smith. Aye. The motion passes.
Wait,
And
I'm sorry. I went into vote aye too.
thank you, Tracy. The motion passes unanimously. We have approved our 24-25 Stokes budget. Thank you very much. Congratulations, guys, especially Bill. All right.
Any other questions for me?
No, sir. I think you are
Yeah.
fine.
And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
All right, Bill. Take care.
Okay, we'll see.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay. Governance Committee, is there a report?
The only note that the Governors Committee has, we'd like to welcome our two newest board members to the Stokes board. We are so happy to have them on board. You know, it's been great getting to know you over the last few months, and we look forward to your participation and on the board going forward. So welcome, Morgan, and welcome, Erica.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it and excited to work with you all.
Great. Kara isn't present, and I'm not aware of any updates from the Academic Excellence Committee. Development Committee, Adina and Tim, is there an update?
No update
Okay.
from the development committee today.
Perfect. And for HR Committee, there also is no update at this particular point. Great. So that concludes the committee reports. At this point, we will turn it over to Bobby for the interim executive director report.
Cool. Give me a second. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the interim executive director's report. My name is Bobby Caballero, and I serve as your interim director for Stokes School. Interim executive director for Stokes School. So today we're on my agenda, I have tribute to Dr. Ramona Edlin, the Linda Moore Award for Service and Excellence, Jazz Appreciation Month, the Eclipse, compensation scale, lease, volunteer breakfast, the River School, staff appreciation, DC Cape, Stokes School strategic plan, and then one of my favorite parts, alumni on the move, and then end it with some upcoming events. Earlier this year, we lost Dr. Ramona Edlin, and Dr. Ramona Edlin, she was considered a giant in the civil rights movement. Her social justice advocacy manifested in many ways, but her greatest impact was reform and reshaping the educational landscape here in Washington, D.C. And she's going to be missed. The service was incredible. He had most of the charter school leaders and just a whole bunch of different folks from Fisk, and she was a Delta. It was a packed house at her service, and but her legacy lives on. But she will definitely be missed. And Ms. Moore also did a tribute to her. I think it's called the 74. And I shared that link with you guys if you guys want to read the article that Ms. Moore wrote. They started off as colleagues and ended up being more like sisters. Just an amazing person. And speaking of Ms. Moore, so this year we are introducing the Linda Moore Award for Service and Excellence, and this is kind of what it's going to look like here. And Dr. Ramona Edlin posthumously will receive the very first Linda Moore Award for Service and Excellence during our graduation. And I believe from one of Ramona's kids, I believe Kim, will be there to receive the award on behalf of her mom. So that's going to be exciting and emotional. April was National Jazz and Poetry Appreciation Month. And we had what was going to be called the Jazz in the Garden, but it was really cold on that Friday. So we moved it indoors, and these are some of the performers. So we had spoken word artists, we had jazz musicians, food trucks, and this little guy right here on the bongo drums. That's one of our Stokes alum, Aiden Yonkers, who's doing amazing. He's actually, I think, later in June, he's going to be performing with a go-go band with I think I don't want to say I think it's Backyard, but yeah, he's learning drumming a lot at his middle school. He's just doing amazing things. And Ms. Moore during this month was very busy. She visited both campuses and classes, helped put up poems throughout the school. And here she is teaching poetry to, I believe that was a fourth grade class at East End. But it was great to see Ms. Moore. You're very busy this month, Ms. Moore. Going in and, talking to the kids, and the kids like, wow, you founded the school. It's like, do you own the school? Just the funniest questions that she gets from some of the students is great. This year we had an eclipse, and we were able to secure eclipse glasses for all of our students. We had like a scientist come in and make sure that the students, when they looked at it, to make sure that they were safe when they did it. And everyone from kindergarten through fifth grade participated in it. And then we also gave glasses to the pre-K, to the parents of the pre-K students. It happened right around dismissal. So, if their parents wanted to also look at the eclipse. But it was really, really cool. It was cooler than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting that all of our students were able to participate in it in a safe way. This is what Bill spoke about earlier, our compensation scale. So our compensation scale, we've been working for the past 6 months with an organization called Ed Fuel. And Julie and myself have been meeting weekly. Well, we started off meeting weekly. The last month and a half, we've been meeting like 3 or 4 times a week. And Ed Fuel, they did staff surveys, they did interviews. We really tried to incorporate what is important for our staff, came up with a full compensation scale, through the lens of transparency, equity, and clarity. And it was really, really good. We did a lot of work, and we're proud. We're proud of what we were able to accomplish. As Bill said earlier, we published the teacher's salary scale. We were required by OSCE to publish a teacher salary scale on the website, but Julie and I, we agreed that we're just going to publish all of our scales, just make it very transparent and public. We're going to put the teachers, the teacher assistants, paraprofessionals, administrations, operations, all that will be on the website. So it was a collective work from, again, we got input from staff in different departments, everyone from the kitchen to the principals of each school. So thanks again, for everyone who participated in this to create this compensation scale.
Bobby?
Yes.
Really quickly, and I'll follow up with Frazier about this. And as of June 30th, DC's transparency law goes into effect. And so there's also a requirement in terms of internal and external job postings to have certain key information related to compensation. And so I just want to make sure you're aware of it, but I'll touch base with Frazier to make sure that going forward from the HR committee perspective, that all those postings meet requirement.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Carlos spoke about this earlier, the East End lease. We signed it on May 1st. So we now have a lease at the East End building that covers up either 14 years, so it's 14 more years. So we didn't have a lease for earlier this year, but it takes us till 2038, I believe. And it also allows us to exit. There's a clause in there where it allows us to exit with no penalty if we find another building within now 14 years, which I hope we will, to accommodate the size of the East End campus.
I don't want Bobby to short sell his role in this, and so I want the board to really appreciate the moving and grooving that Bobby did, the wiggling he did, and the nuance that he, I won't say manipulated, took advantage of to really negotiate a fantastic lease. And so I like I said, I've heard Bobby's tales of woe and work. So I want us all as a board to understand that Bobby put significant blood, sweat, and tear equity into getting us a tremendous lease. And so he should be applauded for that by the board.
Thank you.
And I second what Anton said. And as a professional in commercial real estate, he really got a grasp of all the key items that needed to be negotiated and pushed them to the right place for the school. So I second Anton, great job.
Congratulations, Bobby. Great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate Carlos and Beatrice's guidance in this as well. So thank you. It was collective work. Speaking of appreciation, we had our volunteer appreciation breakfast, both campuses. This happened at Busboys and Poets in Hyattsville, and it was great to have, you know, the PTO president, PTA president, members of, you know, parents and volunteers from both campuses. We had our Stokes School Steel Drummers perform, and our board chair was present. So thanks again, Anton, for being very supportive. And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And hopefully this is the first of many where we get together. I think this might be our new spot for our volunteer appreciation. The food was good, the company was good, and the performances were great.
This will be the last time I chime in, I promise. Or maybe not. I just wanted to, what I left with reflecting on was the steel drums were phenomenal. I didn't know that steel drums could make those kinds of sounds. And those children were amazing. And they were playing very complex songs. I'd love to find some way for them to present or perform maybe at the annual. Once again, they were phenomenal. I just wanted to say that their teachers should be very proud. They did an amazing job.
I played steel drums when I was at Stokes, and it was so fun. It's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. We took you guys to the National Cherry Blossom. Is that where you performed, Beatrice?
I don't really remember where we performed. I just remember playing them and having never seen a drum like that, and then being able to play one was really cool.
So Beatrice, is that a volunteer for a collab between the board and students jam session?
Sure, why not?
You heard it. All right, let's make it happen, Bobby.
We can have our alumni Stokes steel drummers.
All right.
And actually, all jokes aside, I think the Mr. Richards wants to create an alumni steel drums, because a lot of them, once they leave, there's not a lot of folks teaching this, you know, teaching steel drums. So he wants to have a collaboration and have some of the students come back.
Right.
And I saw the steel drummers play earlier this year as well, and the student government swearing in ceremony that I attended. And so they do multiple appearances. So if you're interested, I'm sure Bobby can tell you where they're going to be next.
Great.
Yeah. I want to thank one of our board members, Tracy Friedlander, for partnering us with the River School. You know, from one email, we had an amazing collaboration. The River School, they came to our East End campus for 2 days and provided all of our pre-K and K students with audio and audio-visual and speech testing, and it was incredible. It's just I can't speak enough about it. They came in, they tested every student, they provide parents with the reports, they For parents that can't get to their doctor, they can provide them, a follow-up visit at the River School Clinic. For parents who can't afford to get to the River School Clinic or don't have the means for transportation, they will pay for Uber round trip to get to the clinic. It's just an amazing thing. It's wraparound service. So Tracy, thank you very much for hooking us up with the River School. And this year, again, this was a pilot, and I think hopefully that they really enjoyed it so much that moving forward, this is something that we'll do every year, and hopefully keep my fingers crossed on both campuses. But again, this was a pilot, so I look forward to continuing to work with the River School. They're amazing. This week, we just ended our Staff Appreciation Week. And it was great. It's just a wonderful thing where, we have breakfast every day, we had food, we had gift cards, notes from our students. And let me see if I think I can, is this something I can click on? No, I don't know if I embedded it right, sorry. Anyway, there's an Instagram clip there that it shows, some of the highlights from staff appreciation. Yeah, it was great. So this month we started our DC Cape. DC Cape took over what used to be known as park testing. So we started with DC Cape, and that's third through fifth. We'll be taking it for the next few weeks. Fifth, I think, just ended. So they do English language arts. Grades third through fifth do English language arts, math, and then the fifth graders also do a science component to this. And yeah, so I think our students are well prepared, and we'll see the results at the end of this year. This is exciting. We have our Stokes strategic plan launching later this month. We will be doing student focus groups. We'll be doing interviews with some of our strategic partners and planning partners. We'll be doing parent and staff surveys. And then the board task force will also be meeting to discuss where we want the school to, guide the school for the next 5 years.
I'm sorry, Bobby. Just want a clarification. We're not starting the plan. We're starting the planning process.
The planning process, yes. The planning process. We put out an RFP to have a consultant lead us through this, and we got a few proposals. We chose Front of the Bus. Front of the Bus has worked with the school before, and they actually helped lead the last strategic plan, and Julian Johnson. Now, Julian Johnson is a former board member of the Stokes Board of Trustees. So there's an additional conversation that has to happen, like, the board. I just have to say that, the conflict of interest, I have to mention that there was, conflict of interest, that the board is aware that there could be a conflict of, or the board needs to be aware that since she is a former board member, that I have to publicly announce, the conflict of interest. But again,
we'll do that in the discussions following your report.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, she's worked with the school. It was, and she helped lead the last one. And let's see. One of my favorite parts of this is alumni on the move. And again, there's so many that I can talk about, and I just happen to choose these three. I've been in contact with them recently, so I put them on. One of them is Karan. Karan just graduated, or is about to graduate, from Bowie High School, and he'll be joining the Air Force this fall. So I wish him luck, and he's going to do amazing things, make us proud. Right here in the middle, we have Zainab Ewing Boyd. Zainab Ewing Boyd is amazing. She just won the Golden Gloves, the DMV Golden Gloves boxing. She's a boxer. So she just won the Golden Gloves. Yeah, she just won the Golden Gloves, and now she's in, I think in August, she's competing for the National Golden Gloves. So we wish her luck. But again, so Zainab, I just got to tell you a little bit about Zainab and her sisters. So her oldest sister is in California. She was the first one in the family to earn her black belt. The next older sister, Satya, also earned her black belt next. And then then she wanted to do something else and she did wrestling, so she's currently at Xavier University. And then there's Zainab, who also earned her black belt, but then wanted to, try something else. And she's a Golden Gloves champ. Amazing. And she'll be going this fall, I believe. I know the two colleges she was talking about were either North Carolina A&T or Delaware State. I think she might be leaning towards Delaware State. But yeah, just an incredible young lady. And then this gentleman right here, he's the third one here. His name is Kevin Peralta. Kevin is also one of our alums, and he went to Lafayette College on the Posse Scholarship. And he works now with the Tampa Bay Rays. He's like the performance and science assistant with Tampa Bay Rays, and this is him at a training camp in DR. He's Dominican, so he's in Dominican Republic right here. And I don't know if these are actual players. I think they're some of the Rays players. So want to give a shout out to Kevin for continuing to make Stokes proud. And then we have some upcoming events. This week, we are departing to Panama and Martinique with our fifth graders from both campuses. We have a total of 27 students heading to Martinique and 16 students heading to Panama. And we're excited. This is first time ever that we have students in the fifth grade on both campuses that will be going to international study tour. So we're really looking forward to that. Again, we have our fifth grade graduation on both campuses. We have on Wednesday, May 11th, it'll be at the East End campus, and Thursday, May 13th at our Brooklyn campus. And I invite all the board members who want to join us on either campuses to please join us on those days. We have our alumni luncheon. I think they had to change the date on that, but we have our alumni luncheon this year as well. And again, this is the Brooklyn campus. Next year, we'll have our very first alumni luncheon for both campuses. These are two of our alums here. And he recreated this picture right here. That's him on the wall right there. So he recreated. And this right here is Julia, one of her former students. This picture couldn't be recreated because 10 years ago, it looked opposite. Julia was towering over Isaiah. But now Isaiah is towering over Miss Julia. So, and he's at DCI right now, and he's on the basketball team. They're actually both at DCI. We have our annual meeting coming up. That'll be an in-person meeting, and that'll be Saturday, June 15th. So I invite parents, any parents listening, and we'll put it out to make sure that parents are aware of this. That'll be Saturday, in-person meeting, Saturday, June 15th at the East End campus at 9:30 a.m. We'll probably create like a Google form to get RSVPs, so we can have enough coffee and some refreshments for everyone.
And I'm sorry, just to clarify, and so the first portion of that meeting is a board meeting. So we are asking that board members make an effort to also attend. Although I think there may be some limited Zoom availability like we did last year, Bobby, Julia.
Yes.
Okay. So like I said, so it is a brief board meeting, but it is a board meeting nonetheless.
And That's all I have. If folks have any questions or comments.
Anything from Bobby?
Bobby, can you remind me, so the East End graduation is on June 12th. Does it start also at 9:30 in the morning?
It does. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then the Brooklyn campus is the 13th at 9:30. Okay.
Yes.
And Bobby, particularly for the sake of our two newest trustees, can you tell us a little briefly about the international travel, cultural, what it's for, what its purpose?
Yes. So since we're a language immersion public charter school, we have our students learning either French or English or Spanish and English. And the international study tours are like one of the culminating events for all the years of practice, that if they've been with us from the beginning, all the years of practice, to put it into play, So many, many years ago, we started it in 2004 with our very first graduating class. We only had about maybe 5 students going to each of the countries when we first started. This is the largest group going to Martinique. And it's just it's not a vacation. We go there, it's a study tour. So, they've been partnering they've been emailing with the schools that they're going to visit, one of our partner schools over there. So they've been emailing since we're IB school. They've been planning to do like a collaboration together. Everything that, they're learning. So when they're in Martinique, the students speak French most of the time. We ask them to speak French most of the time. English slips in every now and then. And the same, when they're in Panama, they're speaking Spanish, and they're doing everything. They're doing math, they're doing science standards, math standards, they're writing, doing language arts, history. It just brings everything that they've learned in the classroom to life, and it's an amazing experience. Again, I've been going for 20 years. It's one of my favorite things to do every year. And each year, like, even though we do a lot of the similar things, it's a completely different experience because the students are different, and they experience the study tours differently. So it's a great thing.
Excellent. Thank you, Bobby.
Mhm.
All right. Great. So that concludes the executive director report, unless there are any other questions for Bobby. So we'll move.
No questions. Just, want to always take this opportunity to thank Bobby and the entire team for all of your hard work. It sounds like this last trimester that, there have been a lot of achievements made. So, just want to thank you and the entire team for that. I know the end of the year can be a lot. So, we're here to support you however we can, but just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank
Achievement and challenges, but been great.
Great. All right. At this point, we'll turn to discussions, actions, and voting items. And I believe there is only one. So I'll ask Bobby. I'll preface it. So as Bobby said, we're looking to hire Stokes. We're looking to hire a person to lead the strategic planning process. And because of past affiliation with Stokes, it could constitute a conflict of interest. And so there's just a brief requirement that the board be made aware of this and accept it. And so it will require a vote by the board to approve this one usually hands-off operational thing. But so I'll ask Bobby to speak briefly so he meets the requirements of the legislation.
Oh, you said
yes, there's certain things that you have to present, I believe. The basis, once again, reiterate the selection process, the qualifications.
Yes. My apologies. Let me pull that up for a minute.
Sure.
Give me just a second. have to look through my emails. Give me just
Okay.
about another minute.
In the meantime, just to kind of clear the deck, are there any other discussion, action, or voting items for the board to consider today? Great, this will be the final piece of business. All right, great.
So Anton, do I read just the, and I know we went over this. I didn't know I was gonna read the whole thing. Like if there, so like it has to show that, like a written statement describing the conflict of interest, such relationship between the vendor and a member of the school board leadership, that part, or
Read the requirement, and then fill in the gaps as necessary.
okay.
Anything else can be filled out during discussion for the vote.
All right, so submission requirements: when a school enters into a conflict of interest contract, it must submit a required documents within 3 business days of the awarded date, even if the contract is otherwise exempt from contract document submission requirements. DC public charter school boards may follow up to inquire whether the contract is fair to the school. All conflicting interest contracts must be reported except for those with a total annual contract value of less than $1,000. And it says the requirement documentations are listed as all relevant items listed in sections 4, 5, 6, and 7 of this policy. Indication of the procurement contract that is a conflicting interest conflict. A conflicting interest contract on DC Public Charter School Board's contract submission data form. A written statement describing the conflict of interest, such as a relationship between the interest of the vendor and the member of the school's board or leadership. And then a draft minute which demonstrates the contract was approved by the majority of disinterested board members. The minutes show compliance with DC Code, little squiggly line 38 1802.04, section C, subsection 1A, including disclosure of conflict of interest, familiar relationship, or prior relationship, and full disclosure of the steps taken by the board and staff to ensure the contract was awarded fairly. Draft board minutes not approved by the board. Draft board minutes are not approved by the school's board, but should be complete and accurate. Draft minutes are acceptable because of the submission requirements may necessitate thank you, submission of meeting prior to the school's next board meeting, where the minutes will be approved. The agenda does not count as minutes. DC Public Charter School Board also requires to submit all approved board minutes to DC Public Charter School Board on a quarterly basis through a separate submission process.
Okay, so fundamentally, we're required to capture this in our minutes that it was presented that it was a conflict of interest, that in the process that we use to select this particular vendor. So once again, it isn't necessarily a bad thing, clearly isn't an illegal thing, that is a potential conflict of interest. We just need to have on the record that Bobby presented this information to us, presented information about how we arrived at the selection of this individual or this group, and that the board has voted to move forward with the line of business. Does that answer your question or concern, Amy? So he'll give us the details of that process, but I just wanted to lay out why we're doing this. We're required once again to capture it into the minutes.
And we put out an RFP, and we had 2 other submissions as well. So, and this one was the best.
But what was the base of that decision, Bobby?
Again, cost, working with school familiarity, working with school. Past work has been great, So we knew this, the work that this person has done.
Similar
Yeah.
work, similar type organizations.
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
whose regulation is this for the record? Is this DC government regulation? Is this DC Public Charter School Board regulation? Just for
This,
the record, I need to know.
Sure.
Regulation.
it's
Okay.
DC Public Charter School Board.
yes, it is the DC Public Charter School Board procurement policy.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll get to discussion. So there's a proposal to accept, and I don't have it in front of me, Bob. What is the group's name? So we're actively reflecting it.
Front of the bus.
There's a proposal to accept front of the bus despite any potential conflict of interest as the vendor of choice for the strategic planning process. Is there a motion?
You're asking the board, yes?
I'm asking the board. Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask just one question real quick?
Sure.
I was just curious. So for the RFPs, there's a committee that goes through the RFPs that makes that kind of goes through the criteria that works with you. I was just curious, like how
Who will rather
decided?
Who will rather
Like, is it a single decision? Is it a committee decision?
Ms.
Like at the school level?
Yeah, so Ms. Cortez put out the RFP, or actually, I think it was put out the RFP. Ms. Cortez received them. We reviewed them. We looked at them. So Ms. Cortez is our Chief Operations Officer.
Bobby, who's we? Who reviewed and made the decision?
Myself and Ms. Cortez.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
This is Amy. So is this a new procurement rule of the DC Charter Board? I'm just not familiar that we have done this before or had to have a discussion about a potential conflict of interest amongst someone being selected for an RFP.
I can respond. It is not a new policy, and there have been instances in the past when there have been potential conflicts of interest when the board has discussed and approved. It's been many years.
So once again, so the key thing, it isn't every vendor, clearly that's operations, but because of the potential conflict of interest, this is why it bubbles up to the level of requiring board approval of an operational issue.
And who determines it's a potential conflict of interest?
The fact that it was by a board member.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the policy.
Okay,
Like,
that's in the policy?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was just following protocol.
Yes.
This just yeah, we just didn't have a lot of background on this.
It's confusing, Amy.
Yeah.
It is confusing.
Okay, so can I get so once again, the proposal is to approve this vendor. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the front of the bus consulting company.
That was Erica Porter for you, Ms. Moore. Is there a second?
This is Beatrice, I second.
It's been so moved and so seconded. Is there any discussion? Any additional discussion? Any other questions that folks need answers to feel comfortable with the vote? Everyone understand its purpose and such.
I guess so their previous vendor of the school, do we have an existing contract with them, or when was the most recent contract with them, or
the last strategic planning process with them, I believe, started in 2016, 2017, something like that.
Okay. So they did our last strategic planning initiative. Okay. But we
And
have had no other business with them since that strategic plan.
There has been additional
TDs and stuff,
business, but
yeah.
they were under a multi-year contract.
Okay.
This is Adina. Is there, and I'm assuming, because I think I heard Mr. Bobby say that there were 3 proposals that were submitted. So does the policy require a minimum amount of proposals?
It does not.
Okay.
Like sometimes we'll put an RFP out and get no hits at all. And sometimes we might get 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But looking at 3 proposals is fairly standard and acceptable business practice when you're considering RFPs or submitting RFPs. Any other discussion or questions? Okay. Hearing none at this point, it's been appropriately moved and seconded. I'd like to move into a roll call vote, asking individuals of the board to indicate either aye or no when I call their name. Erica Porter.
Aye.
Morgan.
Aye.
Amy.
Aye.
Beatrice.
Aye.
Adina.
Aye.
Tim.
Aye.
And Anton Smith is aye. The motion passes. It should be reflected in the minutes, and that should satisfy the requirements for the government. Great, thank you guys. All right. Once again, there were no other identified discussion, action, or voting items. So at this point, I will accept a motion to adjourn this May 11th pre-Mother's Day nice weekend board meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting. This is Adina.
It was so moved. Is there a second?
Hi, this is Amy. I second, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And
Absolutely.
Same to you.
Appropriately moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Being none, I will do our final roll call vote of this meeting. Once again, asking individuals to indicate aye or no. Erica Porter.
Aye.
Morgan.
Aye.
Amy.
aye.
Beatrice.
Aye.
Adina.
Aye.
Tim.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Anton Smith is aye. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Once again, to the mothers, a very happy and sweet Mother's Day. Hope you enjoy your special day, and everyone have a great weekend.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Nice to meet you all.
Happy Mother's
Happy
Day.
Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day, y'all.